Hey guys, this is Jason
This
Douglas.
is Adam MacArthur, voice of Yuji Itadori.
This is Derek Snow, the voice of Shinra Kusakabe.
This is Phil Parsons, voice of Kenny the Ripper Ackerman.
It's Merc Nguyen. You are watching Voice of the Heroes. Take it away, Fleeboy.
What's good, everybody? You know who it is and what it is. And if you don't, it's the one and only one, Fleeboy Jetson. And welcome back to the Voice of the Heroes podcast. So don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Also, click that notification bell so you can be notified for upcoming discussions and interviews on your favorite heroes and villains around the world. And today we got a special guest in the house. That's right, man. We're shining our spotlight on the first Hokage, Peter Lurie. How are you doing today? And welcome to the channel.
Jay, I'm doing great, man. Thank you so much for having me on the show.
Thank you for being here, man. It's a privilege. Let's get straight into the question because I know Naruto fans across the globe have been waiting for this one, and definitely from our community, you've been one of the #1 highest, picks to come on the show. So congratulations for that. And you played numerous characters from Naruto, including the second Hokage was the first one you played. I'm interested to know what was the switch like from going from the second Hokage and Naruto 2005 anime show to Naruto Shippuden being the first Hokage. How did that come about?
It was just one of those situations, Jay, where they just said, I think you'd be really good for this part. We want to move you over to it. And then when I started reading, I got the script ahead of time before we were going to do it. And when I walked in the door, I'm paraphrasing it, of course, I turned to the director and I said, it seems like he's the Obi-Wan Kenobi of the Naruto universe. To which the director immediately went, exactly, use it. So then once I knew that was the case, I knew, he's fun. He's got a good sense of humor, but at the same standpoint, taking care of the Narutos is his base of operation. And, he's kind of like their spiritual guru.
I'm impressed by that. So you're telling me some of the voice direction that you went with for the choice of Hashirama came from Obi-Wan?
Yeah, I just kind of, it wasn't as much trying to, be Alec Guinness or, what I was just thinking was, it was the mentality. Like if you saw the original Star Wars, he seemed like, oh, he's this nice man, whatever, good sense of humor. Obviously he's there, but you knew as the movie got going that this is the guy that everybody looks to for spiritual enlightenment and to the salvation. And you realize as Luke is with him that this guy is not just some old man out in the middle of the plains, that there's something really special about him. So as much as they weren't the same age, I just kind of thought, okay, I'm gonna take it from this point of view. And then you realize, again, if you're watching the show here, you're obviously, I'm not spoiling anything. He gets killed pretty quick, but like Obi-Wan Kenobi, he comes back and when the Narutos need him most.
Yeah, that's actually great. All right, you do play Kido Maru, right? Kido Maru in the show, and you've been playing Hashirama for so many years, whether it's video games, the series, movies, etc. What two did you favorite the most voicing when it came to
it depends because Hashirama, obviously, because there was a lot of meat to it. And like I said, sometimes when you get characters like this, they're very one-dimensional. And I decided, I wasn't going to play it that way. And that's what ended up happening. Like I hope it came across that way, that he definitely has a sense of humor, that he's definitely, I would say, almost like a father figure to these guys and gals. But at the same standpoint, when it's time to be a badass, he's a badass. He's right up there with everybody.
And he did have a bright sense of humor with him when he wanted to. He was definitely up there. Now, you said it had a lot of meat to it, right? I'm assuming more so than the games, right? Because the games really furthered some of the storylines that we didn't get to see in the cartoon. When it comes to voice acting, video game wise, and the animation, Which one do you think is a little more difficult to do?
That's a tough one, Jay. I mean, basically, it just depends. It depends on who's writing what. Some, in my opinion, are amazing writers, and I think we get to tell a real story. And a lot of times, especially with like video games, um, they just want to hear. We have to go from A to B to C to D, and we just have to get there as quickly as we can. And a lot of times, you're doing a line in video games where, in context, you're saying, "I don't understand why," and then you find out later on, well, this particular line can show up anywhere in the game. So it's got to be kind of, you can't say, oh, I'm going to be really happy with this one because it may not work in a certain situation if you're really happy with this one. So I think that's the case. Nowadays, the games are getting even more advanced. I did a game last year that was called Marvel Midnight Suns.
I loved it. I
Oh, thank
played
you.
it. It was one of my favorites.
Thank you. And playing Victor Creed and Sabretooth. But there are so many different layers in it that you couldn't do it that way. And I got a chance. They wanted me to play Tony Stark's dad. And I did that, and I just had some fun. So it
Oh,
was a
that's
really good time. But the point I'm getting at is, the writing now has gotten so advanced that they really just doing a generic line usually doesn't cut it anymore.
and video games are stepping their stuff up where, the work can be like working on a whole series or even a feature length film when you're doing these
Absolutely.
video games sometimes. So yeah, I like that. Now, one thing I love about anime, with the anime comes the anime culture. And that's, the fashion, the books, the Funko Pops, which is my favorite. I'm a collectible. Now, it must be so awesome to have some of the characters that you play get their own toys or Funko Pops.
Oh yeah.
What is like at these conventions? I know it must be crazy when people see you and come embrace you with all this love and these Funko Pops. What's the one? Well, I'm assuming it's Hashirama, right? But what's the one line hey man, can you write this on the box or can you say this? What's that one line when you go to these conventions?
It's funny you say that because everybody's got their own. Some of
Ooh,
them you see, and I would always think something like wood style jutsu, or thousand arm cannon or something like that. They come up with everything, and it's shocking. And there was one guy that showed up, and it was kind of a reason. I'm sure we'll get to that later. Why I was kind of now on myself that it took this long for me to start doing them, because this is going to sound very cliche, but you actually are doing some really good work for some people, and we'll get into that later. But this one guy came in, and I said, what do you want to write? And he said, well, you just put whatever you want. And I said, well, wait a minute, man, this is yours. I want it to be personal. I want it for you. And so he gave me this thing. But then he turned around and said, look, I'm sure today you're going to have a lot of people. They're going to be bringing in the Funko Pops. Why don't you take this list with you? And there was about 30 of them. And I wish I would have kept it. I was so exhausted. Somebody walked off with it. But it was pretty funny, man, that there are so many different lines that mean so many different things to so many people. And that's what makes it, I think when I use the term personal, I think that's the key. Key
Yeah,
is personal.
and that's definitely what this show is about. We love to give y'all flowers for for the work and for the emotions and everything that you put into these characters. Because somewhere out there, there's some girl, some boy, somebody in sometime in their life, your lines or your character help them get through some very difficult and dark times. So this
Absolutely.
show is to show the person behind the hero that's truly the hero. So thank you so much for your commitment to Naruto and everything you've done for the culture. Now let's talk about the villainous side of you. You kind of mentioned them a little earlier in Victor Creed. You also played a ton of other villains Juggernaut, and I love Marvel so much. It's like my number one passion. I grew up on comic books, the cards, things like that, X-Men and stuff like that,
Sure,
which is
sure.
phenomenal. Would you like to come back? Well, not well, come to the franchise X-Men 97 as Victor Creed? Because
Would
I
love
can't
it.
remember the voice actor that played him before, but I'm pretty sure, we haven't seen Sabretooth come back in X-Men 97. Would you like to come back as that role?
Make it happen, Jay. I would love to be back. Unfortunately, not my decision, and the business. It just kind of comes down to this happened because this happened, and this
Mhm.
person got the job because this person was in charge or whatever. And that's the business. Whether you're if you're acting in front of the camera, if you're doing voiceover, if you're a singer, songwriter, it's basically being in the right place at the right time. But I would absolutely love to. Victor Creed is one of my favorite characters to play because you're right. He's evil, and there's the two versions when he's Sabretooth in general, like things like Disc Wars and some of those type of games, some of the games, um, it's just you're pure animalistic evil. But when you get into things like Midnight Suns, or I did a series, it was called Wolverine and the X-Men.
I
And I,
love one of my favorite up there,
yeah,
top three of all times,
yeah, and
hands down.
we had that too. Steve Bloom, of course, played
Wolverine.
Logan, and he
Yeah.
and I we had that two episode arc where you really get to find out what it was all about. And I was really looking forward to the next season. Then, unfortunately, um, at the time, toys were the main thing. And no matter how much people enjoyed the cartoon series, if the toys didn't sell X amount of units, and that's based on a projection, it's like a movie. You might do $100 million, but they thought you were going to make 200 million. So then they consider it a flop. It's kind of the same thing with those games, with the cartoon series.
And that's so
It's
sad because that was one of the best series that X-Men
I thought
had
so.
put out to me. I thought the story was maybe it was too mature for the younger audience to go buy the toys because I felt like that, and that's why I loved it so much. I felt like it was a more matured X version of the X-Men, and then you had Logan leading the group. You had a phenomenal voice cast. It was just everything. There's another franchise that you was Sabretooth in, which a lot of fans are hoping that it comes back in some form of fashion, which is Marvel Ultimate Alliance. And you played multiple characters. I'm talking about the big guns: Hulk, Juggernaut, Bullseye, Sabretooth, the
Yeah,
Executioner, and many more characters in this franchise. Would you like to see that video game come back?
absolutely. Absolutely. When you get a chance to do, because a lot of times as voice actors, you might look at someone's credit and here's the famous term, additional voices. And hey,
Mhm.
it's good work and it's creative, but when you actually get a character that people know and you can really more or less, all right, here's the term, sink your teeth into it. It really, you know, how can you not be excited every time you get a call from your agent saying, yeah, you're playing this one in this game, or in this series, whatever. It's great because one of the great directors of all time, two directors, both in the same vein, Gordon Hunt, the late Gordon Hunt, who's Helen Hunt's father, amazing actor and director. He was at the forefront of Hanna-Barbera for years and years. And one of his proteges, who I'm sure you're familiar with, had a lot to do with a lot of those games, Chris Zimmerman, both tremendous, tremendous directors. And they would just tell you, all right, come on in, let's play. And they meant it. It wasn't just a throwaway line. You were going in there and playing because I think what people kind of lose sight of, Jay, is when you were a kid, you had your action figures and you played make believe, right?
True indeed.
Okay. You came up with your own voices. with your friends, hey, I'm this guy, I'm this guy. Well, I'm that guy. And you had fun, and that's what it was all about. To me personally, some of the best voice actors you run into, that was their thing too when they were kids. You know, if you couldn't, that's how you got a chance to play. You got to go ahead. You weren't worrying about, the worst thing an actor can do, and we've all done it from time to time, is to say, okay, I'm going to say the line this way because I know that's what they want. Worst thing you can ever do. You're getting hired because they believe the character is you. You are inside that character in some shape or form. So it's what you bring to the character that's most important.
I love it. I love it. Now, out of four out of the three shows you was in was hard influences on my childhood. That's X-Men for sure.
Mm-hmm.
No, well, not really Naruto, but Naruto had a big impact on my later years, my second childhood.
Okay.
We would call that my second childhood because it was the first thing when I found out about what anime truly was. It was the gate opener for anime for me. And now the third is the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. To this day, I'm a huge turtle fanatic. Even back in the day with the big dolls they had and everything else, you played Leatherface in the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and a couple of other characters for sure. I think about 2-3 more. I can't really remember, but Leatherface was the one that really caught my eye. I was like, oh my God, he was Leatherface.
Leatherhead.
So now I do something on the show where I call it like the brawl for all with your characters.
Okay.
So we're gonna put in a ring Leatherface, Sabretooth, Hashirama, and let's do man. I don't want to put nobody OP in there. That's gonna just break the octagon. Who would you pick if you could have your fourth character placed inside there?
Okay, so hold on. Let me make sure I got these straight. You said Leatherface, but you mean Leatherhead.
Yeah, Leatherhead. Excuse me.
Leatherface is chainsaw.
Hey, it's the spooky season, and what's crazy? I just did a spooky Leatherface TikTok on my TikTok. That's right.
Oh, did you?
What I'm thinking of.
Oh, I'll have to get that. All right, so you're saying Leatherhead,
Hashirama,
Sabretooth,
and you could pick one more.
Easy. And I'm not sure if you know it. It was a 3-game trilogy, and it was called Fear. And I played a cannibalistic serial killer by the name of Paxton Fettle.
Oh, okay. So now who
Look it up.
loses first, right? Who loses first and who wins?
Ooh. See, that is difficult because Paxton Fettle was dead and came back and had a kind of a supernatural thing to him. So did Hashirama. Sabretooth was just, a mutant. And then, of course,
Leatherhead
was just a mutated alligator that was about 7 feet tall. So I'm not sure. I think they might all just band together.
They might band together.
They may just band together because, I'm trying to think who would be, because, for example,
Leatherhead and Sabretooth would be a good fight.
Oh, okay. I thought you were saying who dies first.
Yeah, out of all of them, they all fighting each other. It's a
brawl.
Oh no,
you'd want. Oh no, it's a no-brainer. Sabretooth and Leatherhead fight each other, and then the two spiritual supernatural guys go at it.
And who wins that?
Ooh, I'm gonna say Hashirama, because as much as he is, dead, undead, whatever you want to call it, he's also still good. He's got the heart. The heart is what drives him. It's what protects everyone around him. Paxton Fettle is just pure evil. And I, hate to be cliche, but good always triumphs over evil. You know that, Jay.
All right, out of Leatherhead and Sabretooth, who wins?
That's tough because I think one of them would have to kill the other one. I don't think either one would give up. I would think, here's the thing. Leatherhead is pure animal. He does have a heart. He is trying, as we know, trying to redeem himself from what he became, and he does in some sort of a way. But Sabretooth, not only is he evil, but he's cunning, he's highly intelligent, and he's been around for so long.
He has a lot of experience.
People know what the backstory. I mean, he goes back to the 1700s. So I would think if it came down to it, that Sabretooth would probably win.
Okay, now Hashirama and Sabretooth, last round.
Oh no. I think Hashirama wins just because, just very much like Obi-Wan Kenobi, he would know I'm going to go for apply to his weaknesses. And I know what it is.
Mm.
And that's how I'm going to beat him. I'm not going to beat him brawn for brawn because he's going to win. I'm strictly on that. But I can beat him because I know what he fears. I know what his weakness is, and I know what I have to do to win.
Great
So I would
answers.
say Hashirama when it's all said and done.
Great answers. I love it. Now, out of all of the great anime shows that you took part in, which one would you like to see turned into a live action? Now, we do know at this current stage, Lionsgate is in early development with writer and director Destin Daniel Creighton, who directed Shang-Chi. He's at helm to do the live action Naruto movie. But out of all the other ones, which one would you like to see turned into a live action?
Well, two of them. And one of them, if you really know your anime, you might remember it. It was called The Big O. Big O, look it up. It's kind of a Batman and giant robot combined. And Steve Bloom again plays the character, and his best friend is the colonel of the elite army of this city that's in a dome, and his name is Don Doston. So it's kind of that Batman, Commissioner Gordon thing going on. If you ever see it, look it up. The Big O. It's a very dark, dystopian society. And it's like you said, in the dark times, we're looking for a hero. And that's basically what he is, the Big O. And I think that because of things like Pacific Rim and Godzilla.
I love Pacific Rim.
You know what I'm saying? With those type of things that have been really big hits, I think if they took a swing at the Big O as a, I think it would make a lot of sense.
And what was the second one?
I don't know.
We got that one answer from you because I'm about to mess your head up with this next question. Usually,
okay, well, hold on.
What's your Mount Rushmore of anime characters? But we're gonna remix it and do what's your Mount Rushmore of voice actors, people that may impacted your life. You looked at as a mentor figure, or just overall changed the whole like a Mel Blanc like type Blanc.
Well, you just took him.
He would be a George Washington.
Well, I was gonna say if you want the Babe Ruth of I'll go baseball because it's that season. Go Dodgers, by the way. Our man Jay here is a Yankee fan, so I had to say that. Here, we'll even do it this way.
What's your prediction? Dodgers. What's your prediction on the series?
I say Dodgers in 6.
Dodgers in 6?
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be nobody's walking over anybody. This is all about who
It's going to be
blinks
a
first.
dogfight.
I'll be a game one, so yeah.
Being a New
Can't
York
wait.
fan, I am a little upset it's not going to be the Mets and Yankees,
Of
but I
course.
do for a dogfight and a all-out war. I would love to see the Dodgers and the Yankees. I think the baseball gods have chosen correctly.
Oh,
So
yes, they did. And also let's get out there to the Mets. Mad props to the Mets. You guys fought a great fight, but let's not forget, halfway through the season, they were already thinking about next year. Then all of a sudden it got turned on. Then they went through a one-game runoff to get to the wild card to another round. Then they took out the best team in baseball in the Phillies, second best team in baseball in the Phillies. And then, they threw down with the Dodgers. So mad props to the Mets. They didn't they got knocked out, but guess what? I can name 30 other teams that never even got close.
whew, talk to him.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Talk to him. Talk to
You
him.
know, meet the Mets. So come on, man. Were they the Miracle Mets? No, but I would give them pretty close to what the 69 Mets did. Anyway, back to your listeners. They're turning off now. They're going, we don't want to hear about baseball.
It's all
Tell us
right.
about
They love everything we love, man. If they
if
true fans, they love everything we love. So
there
now
you
you
go.
got your George Washington up there.
It's got to be Mel Blanc. Mel Blanc created everything because Mel Blanc not only came up with voices, but came up with making cartoons fun for the adults as well as the kids. It wasn't nasty. He didn't do anything that was nasty or filthy or whatever, but he was able to appeal to everyone. And his characters were just based on, tremendous stuff. Sometimes we really love a character and we go, oh, that voice actor is the greatest ever. No, for me, it just means that they had a character that really identified with everybody. But then when you hear it basically as the only thing he or she can do, I don't know if that puts them put them on Mount Rushmore. I don't think that qualifies. That's just my opinion.
Nah, and this is what is based on. These answers are your opinions, who you feel like is your Mount Rushmore. Because we had other voice actors on here and they gave completely different answers. Most of them had Mel Blanc up there though. Like the
Yeah.
majority put him in
If
that.
if you don't have Mel Blanc on top, then you don't know your history. I'm just putting it out there.
Talk that talk.
You might get like a 24-year-old going, Mel who? And they go, all right, well then,
He don't know.
that's like, but I mean, that happens in baseball and football and basketball and hockey. You'll get a new star and they'll say, what about so-and-so? And then they don't know who they are. And to me, that's the biggest mistake. You have to be schooled in who your people are. You have to be.
So who
All
are
right, so what do we got?
the three?
So we got four there. Mel Blanc for sure. These are no apparent order. But in the case of Mel Blanc, I'll say Mel Blanc number one, no question. For the ladies, she's a friend, and she's extremely talented. Tara Strong.
Oh, I like that answer.
Tara Strong. She because she can do characters over the years. She's done the Powder Puff Girls. She's
Harley.
done, yeah. I mean Harley Quinn. She's done these, but then she goes and when they redid Rocky and Bullwinkle, she sounded like Rocket J Squirrel. My personal thing is when you're going to reboot something, if you don't get somebody who sounds just like it, to me, you're not doing service to it. Just my opinion. Just my opinion. No slamming on anybody who's ever done anything. But when I heard her do that, I immediately said, okay, she's proven now, because you can be the modern day voice person. And you'll say, wow, they're really great. But then if you say, put them up against the original heavies, how would they match up? When I heard her do Rocket J Squirrel, I just went, okay, there's no question.
She doing her thing.
Yeah. So, I mean, I would definitely put her in there. Again, second, third, and fourth, no apparent order. Um, if I had to say, Billy West.
Mhm.
Billy West is an incredibly talented voice actor. He and I love. He said this a long time ago. Sometimes you're coming up with a character that, I'm paraphrasing here, that, you've always kind of mixed with or done with. Sometimes he says, this character is based on someone. And I've heard that before from a lot of old style players who would say more times than not, when you get a character, it can be based on a bad imitation of somebody. Now, in the case of like Billy West, he's used a character on Futurama, the professor, scientist, whatever. I'm not familiar with the name. It's Larry Fine from the Three Stooges, and it's absolutely dead on.
I
It's
didn't even
dead
notice
on.
that.
Yeah, look up Larry Fine from the Three Stooges, and then listen to that character, and it's uncanny. But he's one of those people. He can do so wide range of voices. It's crazy. So those would be my top three.
Only room
Um,
for one more.
I know
Yeah,
that's the problem because now everybody is just
tough
so
part.
everybody is so talented. You know what? I'm going to say Rob Paulson. Rob
Okay.
Paulson. Rob Paulson. I've worked with Rob on many projects. He's very talented. He's also very giving. When you're going in like with anime, you'll go in by yourself and just do it by yourself. When I did a few episodes of American Dad, I was looking forward to like working with everybody. And then I found out, no, they all do it single. Somebody got done, they left, and they said, "Hey, hey, good to see you. It's your turn." Um, but when you go in with somebody, like when I did Ninja Turtles for 5.5 years, I did it with Rob and John Aston, and cavalcade of people. It was a lot of fun because we had to be in there together, and you had to be able to play off each other. And not everybody can do that. It's something against it. Just not everybody can do that. Some of the some of the most famous actors ever, and we're not going to get into it, but those people, they get into an animation booth and it's not the same. It's just not the
Completely
same.
different.
Yeah, but Rob's one of those guys, man, that he's as generous as they come. I think you go to a different level when you're on with him. It's almost like saying you play better when you're playing with him. And that's the truth. So I think if those were my top four, trust me, you could make another 10 of them if you wanted to. It'd be very easy. But
I like that list though. That's
I'll
a
give you a number. I'll give you
strong list.
I'll give you number five. Dawes Butler.
How's
Look it up.
Butler?
Look it
That
up.
name I'm not familiar with. I might have to look him up.
Huckleberry Hound.
Oh, Huckleberry Hound. I don't know. I'm familiar with that character.
Hanna-Barbera. Hanna-Barbera.
Hanna-Barbera.
If you go to the Hanna-Barbera characters, those are the days of the Flintstones and the Jetsons and
Yeah, that's
all
where I
those
got my
cartoons.
name, Fleeboy Jetson.
There you go. There you go.
That's where I got my name, the Jetsons. For
But
the young ones out there that don't know,
yeah, so the
it's a
point
play
is
off
that
Leroy Jetson, Elroy Jetson. I mean,
Elroy, there you go.
yeah.
Look it up. Dawes Butler. And I got lucky enough. By the time Mel Blanc, when I got into doing voiceover, Mel had, I believe it either had passed away or was very close to passing away. But I got early in my career, I got a chance to sit in the booth with Dawes Butler. And Dawes Butler was just amazing. Back then, those guys came up with some of the coolest characters. And I'd give him an honorary mention.
Some of the
But I'll go.
OGs, man. Those are OGs right there.
But I'll give you the top four. Billy West. Oh, I gave you three current, and I gave you one who is the Mount Rushmore of all voice actors. And if that
That's
doesn't,
great answers.
I'm just going to tell you, if anybody from your show from here on out or before, if they don't have Mel Blanc number one or number two at the least, just say, yeah, never mind. Good working
Scrap
today.
the list. Throw the
Good,
whole
go
list
work.
away.
Go work. Go home. You're done.
Now we know that you do you cover, I think, horse racing, right? Something like that.
I do. I do. In
Um
fact,
would you like to cover any other sports? Like would you like to, after horse racing or something are done, or you start setting your eyes somewhere else, would you like to do anything else like baseball or any of that stuff?
baseball would be great, but that's a very tough thing to do. To be, because especially in this day and age, the play-by-play man. A good friend of mine is Matt Vasgersian, who's one of the best in the business, play-by-play. In this day and age now in sports, more times than not, the analyst is a former player, so you're not going to get a chance to do it. Simple as that. And then, we're in a new society now, and the reporters are going to be a certain class. I wouldn't say class, but a certain category of people are going to get to be reporters down there. So somebody my age is not getting down there and doing it. If I had to say one, I would love to do mixed martial arts, MMA,
Ooh.
UFC. That would be cool. That would be very cool.
I want to get your take on, because you said something about the strike. The strike a year ago or something like that, they was having problems with the AI stuff going on, right? And there's still having
reason.
problems with AI.
Sure.
How do you feel about this AI technology being implemented into the business?
All right. AI technology is something that we all just have to understand is going to be our new world. Not just for actors, for the world in general. It's just going to be moving forward. It needs to be monitored. I'm not one of those people that thinks, we're a week away from Terminator. I do not think that. But, if it was left unchecked, eventually artificial intelligence would evolve to the point where it feels it does not need humans anymore. So, we're not talking about that happening anytime soon. It does definitely need to be monitored. The reason why in our business, it really needs to be watched. And it's a perfect example. Jay, you spend, I'm sure, plenty of time on Instagram and occasionally Facebook and X. So can't get over calling it X, but we'll call it X. How many times have you seen an interview now after a game, or talking about one actor talking to another actor, and they just start ripping that person apart, and you're like, whoa, where did this come from? And then you look in the corner and it says this is an AI generated person.
And not even just that, I think it's very, very scary that AI got to the point where it can almost manipulate your voice and your likeness so close that family members, especially elderly family members, could be fooled by it. And I had somebody on the show recently say that they got a code, like a code word for their wife when they call, just in case somebody calls, hey, I need you to wire $50,000 to this spot, I'm in trouble, blah, blah, blah. They have a code word for certain situations. And I find
that it's real.
Yeah, I find that very scary. And I thought about it. I was like, no, that's actually pretty smart, because if somebody calls my wife, hey, this is such and such, and I need $20,000, I'm stuck here, da da da, and my wife goes ahead and wires that money, and then I call and I'm like, hey, babe, what's going on? Did you get the money? What money? And you asked out 20,000, like that could be pretty crazy. So me personally, I'm kind of scared, but I am open to it. But as far as like it being brought into animation, I just personally feel it can't give the same emotions you gave to Hashirama. It can't give that stress on the voice, that sadness that made us cry, that made us smile, that made us laugh. I just feel like AI isn't, not saying it'll ever be there, but isn't there yet. And
No,
You just feel the soullessness of the dry, animation that they try to cram in with. Maybe I'm just over exaggerating.
no. I think you're dead on. That's what everybody's concern is, because you're getting to the point where with animation, if you have my voice saying Michelangelo is a friend of mine, you've got that. Now you can basically do it the whole series, and you probably don't need me. And what it comes down to, it's a reality. And people say it's not true. Well, they're lying, or they're kidding themselves, or they're both. It saves money. If they can do that, they're making a purchase in the beginning so that for years to come they can do stuff that isn't going to cost them anything. That's what's sad about it.
Yeah.
And what they've wanted to do over the years is they wanted to, with this AI, say, well, here, we'll give you X amount of money to use your voice and your likeness. And then that's it. And then you find out down the lane, okay, I got 10 grand. What would it have been worth if they paid me 300,000? Well, that's why they want to do it. It's all about business, is all about money. And as much as you got people like a new generation saying, well, that's not us. Well, yes, it is. What do you think? What do you think all the Bitcoin currency was? It wasn't young entrepreneurs saying, I want to help my fellow mankind. They're basically saying, those people over there have all the money, and I wanted to come over here, so now I'll have all the money. I mean, it's what it is. It's human nature to want to get whatever you can as much as you can. And we have
Man,
to,
well,
we
we'll
have to be better than that. We
we'll
have to
see
be
what
better
the
than that.
future may hold. But let's get back to it. Let's talk about some of the upcoming
Let's be
projects.
happy. Let's be
Yeah,
happy.
let's just be happy, baby. Because thinking about AI stresses me out, to be honest.
I get it. I'm with you, man.
But let's talk about some of the upcoming projects and conventions that may be coming your way.
Right now, as far as projects are concerned, I'm sad to say I got nothing going on right now. I did dubbing like a whole movie, which is speaking of the AI technology, where they took my voice into this Russian vampire movie. It's kind of a high-end movie. I'm not sure when it's coming out. I would think probably sometime next year. But I dubbed it, but when it was all said and done, it looks like I was in the movie. It was pretty impressive. Pretty impressive what they did. I just completed that about a month ago, and I did a game recently that I really can't say anything about. It's a major label,
Oh, I can't wait for it. We'll be on the look for it. Trust me.
which was nice. But right now, not a lot going on because A, the strike is happening, and B, um, they're kind of leaning towards right now the A, B list celebrities doing pretty much everything. And again, that's just the way the industry is moving towards. The one that gets me though is a lot of times they're seeking out, no offense to them, social influencers. Have they
Oh,
ever
yeah.
acted? Have they ever acted before? No, but they have 3 million followers. And the idea is this person is in your part, or the part you would have been playing. I'm going to be this Sunday. I will be in Carlsbad, California. It's called Ninja Exchange. It's like a 2 or 3 story collectibles place. Obviously, you're familiar with it. It's a big deal. We're having a Naruto reunion.
Yes, y'all are with
Uh,
Yuri Yonto, um, Flemingen, Molly
t-
Flemingen,
yeah, Tara
um,
Platt.
yeah, Kate Higgins, Michael Yurchek, yourself, Harry Dittman, um, Peter Saint, Paul, I think, isn't
Peter, yeah, St. Paul and Jameson Jameson Parker. Why am I forgetting his name?
I can't remember. Don't worry, we'll see you there. Voice of the Heroes will be there. We're racking up. I think we just, man, I probably spent over $700 to go to this event already.
So you will be there.
Yeah, we'll be there. We will
Oh,
be there. Trust
I'm
me.
looking forward to. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, we'll be there on the 27th, not the 26th, the one on the Sunday.
Right,
On the 27th.
Sunday the 27th in Carlsbad, California, and then the 28th, I'm on a plane to Collinsville, Illinois, St. Louis, to cover Illinois Day of Thoroughbred Racing in St. Louis. So I'll be on the way there. But tell all your folks out there, if you want me to come to your conventions, what have you, you got to let the people know who are putting on these things. Because the thing for me is, unfortunately, from December to June, I'm kind of locked in my commitments here in Los Angeles. So as much as I'd love to go to these various places, I can't.
What
But
about
the rest
next
of the-
summer? What you doing next summer?
Well, during the summer, you can make it happen.
I'm gonna
From
try to
June-
get you to Tulsa. I'm gonna try.
I
to
would
get-
love to be there. I heard about it. I heard about it. From about June 20th until September, I want to say 28th or 29th, I'm wide open.
That's what's up, man. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show. Also, let people know where they can find you at on social media.
That would be at Peter Lurie VO on X, Peter Lurie VO on Facebook. And if you want to go on Instagram, which is what all us kids do, Peter underscore Lurie. Peter underscore Lurie.
This has been our first Hokage episode with special guest Peter Lurie. Make sure y'all like, comment, and subscribe. And also, love yourself, pass that love on, and love others. And if nobody told you so, just know your boy love you. And until next time, we're out of here. Voice of the Heroes Podcast. See you.
Sing it with me, pretty Cali.